Hello, I'm Robert, and this is Eddie, and we're going to take you through a job in the commercial press room today. Hi, Eddie.
Hi, Robert.
Okay, so you've started and you've clocked in, and this is Monday morning, and you're going to start your first job here. What is the first thing that you look for?
First, I'm going to grab the schedule. I'm going to look at it and see what the priorities are. First job up on the schedule, I'm going to print out a ticket. Look at all the information on the ticket and then start looking for all the materials to make sure we have all the materials.
Speaking of materials, how do you find the materials needed for a job?
Each press has a plate rack. Each press has a staging area for paper. So first we're going to go look for paper, look for plates, make sure we have all those materials.
Well, let's take a look at how we store our plates. So this is the plate rack for the SM72. As you can see, we have proofs. We have a job identifier. So how do these coordinate to the schedule that you have in your hand?
The schedule will show whether there's multi-forms, whether it's a work and turn, sheet-wise, so forth. Once I print out the job ticket, I get better information from that, and I can come over and look at the plate rack and verify that I have what I need for this job.
So now that we have a schedule, we have a job ticket, and we have plates, what is the other items needed for a job?
Well, we got to make sure we have our job bag, because without the job bag, I can't go forward with the job. The job bag will have the spin jet in it for content. As long as all that's there, we'll make sure we have paper in our staging area. We'll prepare that. We'll make sure we have all the proper inks that were needed for the job, and we'll get those in the fountain and get the press ready.
Well, let's take a look at the paper staging area. So this is the paper we're looking for today for this particular project. Is this how it's normally staged, or this is the staging area for this machine?
Correct, yes. Each press has its own staging area. The LS's, they're kind of all staged together. But for the 72, the stock should be back here behind this press for those jobs scheduled.
All right. Well, we don't have a feeder operator per se with us today, but just for our little exercise, what would the feeder be looking for when he's looking at this? Is he's verifying counts, making sure that material is the right finish? I know there's lots of different finishes with paper, so he's looking whether it's gloss, it's silk, the size, the weight, and the quantity, correct?
Correct, yeah. That's one of their specifications of their jobs, is to prepare the stock for the press, but they also need to make sure that the stock matches what the ticket calls for, weight-wise, size-wise, finish-wise, and quantity. So.
Good. So you have the plates. So now, whether it would be a semi-automatic or an automated press, this is the point where you have everything. We have the ink, it's staged, ready for press. This is at the point where we would mount plates and actually start a make ready, correct?
Correct, yes. If we have all the information and all the materials, then we'll go forward with making ready the job.
All right, Eddie, it looks like we have the materials. The plates are on the press. We have our inks, our coatings, everything looks like it's ready to go from an information standpoint. What is the next step?
Once we have everything ready, in press, ready to go, I'll let my feeder know we're ready for a pull, and we'll make our first pull and see where we're standing.
Well, let's do that. All right. This first pull looks really nice, Eddie. So what is the first things we look for after the first pull is made? Once you've committed to that pull on the make ready, what are the things you're looking for right now?
Right now we're making sure that this job has coating, so we're making sure the coating fits all the bleeds. Jamie will come up, usually he'll pull out the spin jet, he'll check for content, pagination, make sure all that stuff's correct.
So what are you checking the print on paper to, the spin jet? Can you go over, what does the spin jet show you as an operator?
It's going to show us, typically it's close to exact size, sometimes it's a little off, but they are made for content, so we're looking at it for breaks in type or anything like that. Make sure anything that was changed, sometimes they'll show changes, so we'll look it over and make sure all the changes have been made and that it paginates correctly.
Good. Okay, so now we've made our first pull. The feeder is actually going to check the spin jet as well as you. We're going to make a rule out. At this point, we're making what? Are we making register and color moves, and to match what? What would be our guidance at this point? What are you using for as far as your guidance of where you're going to run this job?
Each ticket will specify if we're matching a proof, if we're matching a previously printed sample, soft proofing. So right now I would be looking for my register, making sure the colors all fit where they're supposed to, checking for any defaults in the printing, and then we'll scan a sheet and check for color. Sometimes it'll call for standard densities and we're just printing to our standard densities, but usually we're printing to a proof or a soft proofing.
All right. So just for my information, let's say we're running this press on this automated press, the Komori LS. If the paper was staged, ink is ready, you have everything you need, what is the time lapse from the start of a make ready to this point in the process?
It depends on the amount of paper, but I mean, we can usually set up in about 20 minutes, 30 minutes on a job, and depending on how many colors there are, if there's any special coatings or anything like that, it will make it a little bit longer, but our typical make readies probably go 15 minutes maybe. That's hanging plates to making our first pull, getting register, getting color, and start saving sheets.
All right, perfect. So we would be ready to finish the make ready at this point, make our color, register adjustments, do our final checks, and at that point we'll be ready to run, correct?
Correct.
All right, Eddie, so now we've completed the make ready process, and now we're into a production environment. We have started the counter, we're on the count, we're saving sheets. Now what are we looking for?
Each sheet we pull out, we're going to check for any defaults in the sheet. Something may have came through, smashed a blanket, we're going to make sure we have all those things taken care of, and we're running clean sheets through the press. So each sheet I pull, if it's the first pass of the job, I'm going to watch for color. I'm going to check ink register, plate register throughout the whole run, sheet to sheet register.
Well, let's go take a look at that.
Okay. So to check the register, each press has a loop. We'll look at the register, make sure that that's not moving around on us. Usually we're pretty good there, but we like to keep an eye on it anyways. We'll scan the sheet, and each one of these scans will come up here and it'll give the suggested moves for that sheet. So if we have anything that's out of tolerance, then we'll go ahead and do that at that time.
So this scan here appears to be within our standards. Everything seems to be within 5 points or less. Would you consider this a good scan or a good sheet? No adjustments necessary at this point?
This is ideal. Anything in the yellow is still saying maybe we should make a move. So, I mean, we'd like to see everything in the green. So, yeah, we'd go ahead and make those moves. This is within tolerance.
All right. So now we're running. Everything looks good. It looks like the press is in a stable condition. How do you know you're running the right count? I mean, do you have software or something that's actually guiding you as far as your counts and how many you're supposed to run for the bindery?
That's one of the things that the ticket will do for us. It'll give us that information. So per form, we have to enter in to our auto count system those numbers, and it'll do an actual countdown for us of that count and keep track of all waste that we have, make ready and runways. And it'll give you the estimated completion time, which on this specific job we have just over 12,000 sheets to go with 1 hour and 8 minutes. You can see the countdown there. And that tells us that our next job will likely start in about 1 hour and 8 minutes.
All right, so this auto count, when we're looking at a job going through the press room, this is actually, you are on the counter, almost like a stopwatch. You've started the project, you have a start time for the next project. In a perfect world, everything's going smooth, we're running at a nice, decent speed. You actually can calculate the next start and make sure you're on schedule or push the speed. You are actually driven to a start and stop time by the schedule.
Right. Each job or each form will have a start time and a completion time, whatever's built into the estimate for that job. With the auto count, it will allow us to see if we're going to complete it in that amount of time or if we need to try to do what we can to push press speeds up to achieve that.
So now that we're running, when do we start prepping for our next job? When would be our next job? Do we start when this one is finished and then we start a new job, or how do we make sure we're efficient starting our next one?
Typically during a run, in this case, it's nice that it's a long run, so you have ample amount of time to prepare for your next job or even the job after that to make sure you have all the materials for those jobs. So during a run, we're going to look at the schedule and say, okay, this is the next job, print out a ticket, see what paper we need, see what inks we need, and make sure we have plates on that, and we'll go ahead and get those things ready. We're not going to wait till the end of the run. We're going to do it during the run so that we can keep the efficiency up, no downtime.
Okay, Eddie, it looks like everything went very smooth. We have our finished job here, staged for the bindery. Load tags. I want to thank your time. Thank you for your time taking us through the whole process today in the press room. Everything went very smooth. Thank you very much.